Thank you for joining us here at Universal Furniture. My name is Neil McKenzie. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing here at Universal. And if it's your first time to our space, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you. The showroom is massive. We have 115,000 square feet of furniture to see throughout the space. There's a lot of different things happening in the showroom. On floor 3, we have our new introduction called Weekender with Coastal Living. It's our fourth collection with Coastal Living, our third indoor collection. So be sure to check that out. On floor 2, we have some great in-stock looks with Miranda Kerr Home and Modern Farmhouse. And then on floor 1, which is the ground level, we have our special order upholstery offering, which currently is shipping in 6 to 8 weeks. So you can be sure to check that out, as well as the Designer's Lounge, which has a lot of fun activations happening throughout the week, including a Bubbles mixologist session this afternoon, some champagne tasting, which probably could use one now. And this is appropriately themed, I think, because we're on vacation here. So, and then there's also a beauty bar. So if you want to get a hair touch up later in the day, feel free to do that. If you want to see anything and explore the showroom, which we highly encourage you to do, just check in at the front desk and they'll be able to get you scanned in and on your way. Also, just one thing to note, everything in our showroom is tagged, and we have these little scanners that you kind of take around as you shop. You can scan everything, and then when you check out, basically hand the scanner back to the front desk, you'll get an email with everything that you scanned, and it has all the pricing information. It lets you know if it's in stock. So it's just a nice, easy way of kind of keeping track of what you saw and what you liked. So scan as much as you want, no commitment. Today, we're excited to, we were able to take part in the Vacation Design Summit, which took place, or Vacation Rental Design Summit, which took place earlier this week in High Point. We were a member of HPXD, and that was just down the street. So we were excited to see that, and hopefully some of you got to attend and are still here. I think this is going to be an opportunity for Erica Surratt to kind of take you through a little bit about what was shared, as well as some other insights. So that'll be exciting. And we have a lot of great furniture for second homes, and you know, who wouldn't want to go on vacation anywhere, right? So
Vacation's a mindset.
Vacation is a mindset, much like Weekender upstairs on floor 3. So anyway, thank you all for coming. Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you.
Gonna hand it over to Jane.
Good morning. How many of you were at the summit?
What?
Well, okay. Well, it was really, really good. And what was exciting was last year we did a panel here with Neil, and thank you for hosting us again. And we announced it. So it was just 6 months ago. And we pulled it together, and it was really, really good. And we thought this would be our kind of after party of the summit. So all of these women and Erica were speaking at the summit. And I'm going to give you brief bios on who they are, and then we'll get going.
Perfect.
Okay. Jessica over here to my left. Jessica is the owner of the award-winning design firm J. Deuce Design and co-owner of Vacation Rental Designers. Jessica brings 15 plus years of experience in residential, commercial staging, and hospitality design, specializing in designing and installing vacation rental properties coast to coast, ranging from extravagant beach houses to individual units. Additionally, Deuce serves as president of the Houston chapter of the Interior Design Society. Sorry about my voice. I mean, is it okay? It's not too painful to listen to? Okay. She's a design house influencer as well as a brand ambassador for Revolution Fabrics. And she has shared her expertise on design panels, educational forums at KBIS and at High Point, where she co-hosts. Anybody go on her tour yesterday? The Insiders Tour with Elizabeth Scruggs? Woohoo! So Jessica's amazing. Next over here, Tatiana Taylor Tate. It's Tatiana's first time in High Point. We pulled her in for the summit, and I'm so excited. Tatiana is an award-winning interior designer, published co-author, and short-term rental coach based in Vancouver, British Columbia. She's also the co-host of the STR conference, short-term rental conference, Level Up Your Listing. She had that just a little bit earlier this year, and it was a huge success. Your first summit, right?
Yeah.
With extensive experience in both interior design and real estate, Taylor Tate has worked with clients from all over the world, sharing her knowledge and skills to help them increase their Airbnb profits and short-term rental returns. Using an eye for modern and elegant style, she transforms plain spaces with a fresh and vibrant approach to elevate the guest experience. Taylor Tate has made her mark in many projects, including restaurants, residential, and multifamily. So we're so glad that you are here. All right, moving on and to Margie Kircher. with Hearth and Honey Homes. She's the founder and lead designer of Hearth and Honey Homes, quickly made her mark in the vacation rental industry despite starting her company in the middle of the pandemic. She started off solely in the regular residential space, then pivoted her business after realizing the potential in Tampa's vacation rental market. Kircher's strategic networking and niche declaration, I love that, has garnered large media outlet features in Forbes, U.S. News, Apartment Therapy, and Tampa Magazine. Her ability to position herself in the rapidly growing vacation rental industry has not only brought her recognition, but also cemented her success. So yay. And Margie and Ola, who I'm going to tell you about in a second, they were both at this panel last year, which was so great. And then we had a discussion after the panel, and I loved what they were doing in the space, and I thought they'd be really great to participate in the summit. Ola Swarn, besides having the best voice, I love your voice every time we get on the phone. She's the principal and creative director for J'adore le Décor, a firm that specializes in transforming spaces of 1,000 square feet or less. Swarn began her career in marketing and property management, working closely with a local architect and real estate developer on developments in the West Loop, Chicago. Initially a design blog, J'adore le Décor has evolved into a thriving boutique interiors firm with a focus on the Airbnb business. Swarn has designed over 15 vacation rentals in Chicago, Detroit, and Dallas, and launched an ebook for hosts, The Insider's Guide to Creating 5-Star Vacation Rentals. So that's our panel. I'm Jane Dagmy, Managing Director of HPXD, and have a great time.
She's awesome. So hi, welcome. Again, thank you to Neil. I highly recommend, if you were at the summit, you would have seen Universal's furnishings on our stage. And we sat in them for 2.5 days, and they're amazing. The Weekender collection is gorgeous, and they have made literally one of my favorite brands because I thought of every single pain point for designers, addressed it, solved it, exceeded your expectations, and made it really just easy to work with them. And their products are amazing. So spend some time here and get to know not just the Weekender collection, but there's Miranda Kerr, and there's many more. So just enjoy yourselves here, please. Take your time. Okay, I'm Erica Sarrett. I was an interior designer for about 10 years, and I transitioned into design marketing for interior designers and home brands about 10 years ago. Over that time, I ended up using my experience as a designer and a marketer to work with Airbnb in San Francisco to build out a tier of homes that's set in between our marketplace homes and our luxe tier, which really focused on helping hosts who we saw performing exceptionally well on the platform, help them to up level to our design for hosting standards, which were both inclusive of design, interior design, as well as their hospitality. So we wanted to kind of create a benchmark for this tier because we recognized that there were so many guests and business travel, personal travel, family travel, who were looking for really well-designed homes, but also a sort of standard of service. So I helped build that out and then started my own marketing and communications boutique agency for designers. But my passion has always been in short-term rental, and I have had properties, I will say, on 3 continents, just from life experience over the last, since 2011. So I'm deeply invested in the design space for short-term rental and vacation rental design, and I want to do everything I can to support this. So I'm going to start with a little story, and I want you to maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable. I'm going to read just a hair. I want to take us back to the early 20th century when interior design started to gain momentum in the mainstream consciousness. People started to recognize the value of good furnishings, investing in upholstery, about art and drapery and the sort of magic of interior space, and what that really meant to their sense of being, to the sense of who they were, and what it meant to their family, what it meant to creating spaces where people wanted to be there. Move forward a little bit to start to think about some of the first hotels, the Waldorf Astoria and the Ritz-Carlton. They required designers in their spaces to create exceptional environments, right? So a kind of a new level of design emerged, hospitality design. right? Where it became very specific to what that meant. It wasn't the residents necessarily, but people were going to stay there. It was also more about durability and quality of things lasting over and over again, yet presenting a fresh experience to each new person who checked in. So designers had to pivot a little, but also manufacturers had to change. They had to update products to create new products, new surfaces, new technologies to respond to this increasingly in-demand business, right, of hotel making. Let's keep going a little bit further. We'll start to think about what happened in commercial design for offices, for other types of buildings where we had high occupancy, we had people starting to come in outside of the home. We started to see things like stain-resistant fabrics, antimicrobial surfaces, impact-resistant flooring. We started to focus on functionality. Let's think about cubicle emerged, the open office plan emerged, but we had a whole new shift in interior design, where interior designers were now expected to design for a particular function in a space that was really important to the users, to give them the very best experience and increase their productivity. So we had companies investing as well as real estate investors, and then we had manufacturers responding as a result. Here we are, I'll say in the last 20, 25 years, even though it's been going, this much longer, we have sustainability emerging as a mainstream area of design, and we have manufacturers responding as well with eco-friendly products and materials. We have a whole new set of energy efficiency that's emerged. So what we see and what we're all part of here, whether you're just starting to get working in vacation rental design and short-term rental design, or you've been doing it for a long time now and you're a pro, what we're starting to see is the emergence of a new type of interior design, and you're part of that. And what will happen is, if enough of us have momentum and we create enough beautiful properties, beautiful investments, manufacturers will begin to respond as well. And you can influence that with partnerships, with kind of our information, our knowledge, our experience, and our gorgeous projects. So welcome to something new. We're super excited that you're here and that you're part of this. And I cannot wait for our esteemed panelists to talk us through. I have some of my own questions to ask. I want to recap a few of the things that we've talked about through the last 3 days at the Vacation Rental Design Summit in High Point, which is the perfect place for it. But I also want to leave time for your questions because I know that you have them. And we know, give me a show of hands, how many people are focused already in vacation rental design or short-term rental design? How many are brand new? Never done a project, but really dying and really wanting to. Okay, so we've got a good mix, and I think our guests are able to speak to all of that. So get your questions ready. At the end, we'll leave time, and we will jump in. You've already been introduced to them, but now I want to walk through some slides and let them talk about their work and show you examples of how they're leveraging their interior design expertise in the vacation rental design space. And I will let you take it away, and then we'll turn it over to Q&A. Yeah. Jessica, you are up first. Oh, first I want to mention, again, props to High Point by Design, which is an initiative to attract people. Universal is a member, attract designers year-round to market. So sometimes it's not convenient for you to come, but you want to bring your clients, you want to shop. There are over how many partners now? 40. Over 40 manufacturers and in High Point ready to serve you in their showrooms outside of market hours. So please learn more. If you're not aware of High Point by Design, please do. And then obviously High Point Market was a partner of ours, which was an incredible resource. I'll start with this too. From one of the speakers at the Vacation Rental Design Summit, Ginger Curtis. If you want to check out her work, it's Urbanology Designs. You elevate yourself to the level of your environment. And that's really what we're focused on, is creating an elevated, maybe vacation mindset for people coming to stay, whether they're booking something kind of nearby or something far away to go on their own or go with their family. There's many different ways to use this and to leverage it. But the idea that we all know as interior designers that the experience of where we are changes us, right? Changes who we who we are and the experiences that we have, and the environment is very much a part of that. So we'll get started with Jessica Deuce. And just let me know when to, it's just your logo here. Yeah.
So what am I just talking about these pictures and my work?
As you
Okay.
wish.
All right. So the first slides, oh, I love these. So the twin beds, that is actually a trailer. It's a trailer in Wimberley. And I was asked to, Wimberley is a area that is a tourist place in Texas. And it's, a lot of river time and stuff. And there's a lot of Airbnb, VRBO competition and a lot of large homes, and real estate's very expensive. And so the owner wanted to build, but couldn't afford to. So she got a trailer. And, sometimes people are like, trailer. So it's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, small trailer. And we cutified it. I mean, I'm sorry, that's cute. And it stops the scroll. And would you have known that was a trailer? Right? So, we had to think outside the box. Those are headboards from Goodwill. We used unique bedding. Beautiful Kravet wallpaper was expensive, so we only did it on one wall, and we just had to get creative with her budget. And it's always booked. And then the bathroom picture there is actually a home in Colorado that they have a lot of rental traffic for people that are coming in to visit their children at Boulder. It's just outside of Boulder, Colorado. And it's a very, it's the typical neighborhood, and they wanted to stand out a little bit. So we went a little wallpaper crazy. And goldfish in your bathroom. I mean, feels like that's good, right? So we just did unique things to kind of stop the scroll, and you have to get creative. And the first thing I did was look at all of their competition, and nothing looked like that. So that's why I did that.
Love that. And one of the topics we discussed during the summit, and in addition to, how to market, how to, really think about this as a business, was really how important the photography is, how important, making sure that the images that you select and choose are essentially stopping the scroll, like what really needs to be shown in the very first few images to get guests interested.
And I want to point out one thing. This reminds me of something we learned at the panel. We had a great panel about being inclusive and learning about the needs of other people. And that would be, I learned that we need to have shots that show the full room and the height of the windows to the floors and the beds to the floor. So I'm going to redo my pictures, but like that twin bed photo, I think would be Louise approved, right? Because she's in a wheelchair, and this is all one floor. The trailers can come handicap accessible, and she would be able to use that. So I wanted to remember that pro tip. I thought that was really helpful.
Thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of times we don't think about how we want the images to represent something colorful, again, and stop the scroll, but you really have to consider that your spaces need to be inclusive to people with disabilities, people who may have limited mobility or low vision. So you're just making sure that your photos represent the level of your design, the things that you've considered in all aspects.
This is a beach house in Oregon that I did. It sleeps 22, I believe. And it's literally 11 steps to the sand from the door. It's their very private area. It's absolutely beautiful. I beg and plead to have to do a refresh all the time. And that long table, different things that we learned on this project. This was actually the project I cut my teeth on 6 years ago. So I was like, see that ugly slate floor in the picture? I was flown out there just to change that floor. That floor is still there, but all the furnishings have been redone several times. But this is another Oregon beach house. That is a bunk bed set that it looks a little scary. And the housekeeper's husband is actually the handyman that always maintains this project. This sleeps 24. Wow. And there is a rope trick that it's on the beach in Oregon, and he was in the Navy, and he has a very specific rope tie. And so and I've watched him do it, I need to record it. With one move, all that rope comes off those loops, and they change the beds and the top, and then they redo the rope. I'm not making that up, because when I pitched the rope idea, I thought they would hate me. And he showed Housekeeping, which is his company with his wife, and they love it. So that's real nautical rope, and those are real pillars from the wharf, and that was a fun one to do.
I also want to just mention that this project's in Oregon. Your other one was too, but you're based in Dallas.
Texas. Houston. I'm not good at getting projects where I live. This is also Oregon, and that is the surfboard picture is a guest house off of a project, and then another bunk bedroom that I did. And like those are vintage portholes that you see in the bunk beds, and that's a trundle below. And then one thing we do on all of our built-in bunk beds is we do USBs, your own switch for the light, so you can be independent in your bunk and charge your pieces. There's a little flip-up storage area at every bunk. Same with the other picture. The things that you want to think about that make it easy for your guests.
I love that.
Oh, that is Vacation Rental Designers, and that is who's doing this work. My partner, Julia Harmon, is sitting right here, and we are what we call the trifecta. Julia is a real estate agent and property manager. We actually have a property that we manage through Vacation Rental Designers. I do the design work, and then our other partner is an owner of many successful properties, and we coach and network and advise and design, and we have a membership program that you can join that we will help you with. We have a member right here. And yes.
Is that where the QR code takes people?
Yes, the QR
if you
code
wanna
will take
snap
you to
that.
the membership, but we live, breathe this stuff. We love it. We do this because we wake up in the morning and we're excited, and I love it.
Awesome. Ola, you're up.
So this was a property that I did in Michigan, in Dearborn, Michigan. It was one of my first properties. I had to come up with a whole system for everything. And what's great about this is that the investor was new. So we were both new. And I encourage anyone who hasn't done it before, who wants to work with investors, to pick someone at the level where you are. So if you've never done an STR before, vacation rental, pick someone who is new at that. If you're in the middle stages of your business where you have growing pains, pick someone who is where you are. The beauty of that is you grow together. So, and the person who did this, she was really scraping to get this done, but she is now grossing $500,000 a year on short-term rentals. So we're kind of growing together, and they come back and you grow together. So, it's a great strategy. And if you're already luxury, then you'll come in with someone who is at that level. You'll be coming with the heavy hitters. But the beauty of being already in the luxury department is you'll be able to help those who are in the growing stages because you've already been there, and you have the discernment to help them get over that hump and grow. So depending on what level, it doesn't matter rather what level you come in, there's a place for everyone. So she is actually in Chicago. Like Jessica, I don't have good success in my area. And it mostly has to do with the regulations. They're more strict in our area. And
So
that
if
is
you're
something that,
Just, I want to remind you to speak, like if you're attracting new clients who have vacation homes outside of your area, then those sort of regulations don't become a problem for you at all.
Exactly. But if you're looking, you want to market your services, it would be good to know what the regulations are in your area so that you're not wasting energy marketing your services to people who will have a hard time getting it started. So, and that's the situation in Chicago. It's not that they can't have them. It's just the regulations are very strict. And so it's easier for me to work in Michigan and Dallas, New York. We even have a historical mansion in Mississippi that we've been called for. So it's just easier for me to work outside of Illinois. So it's something to keep in mind.
That
Oh, and this bed here, this was in Dallas, and we were speaking about accessibility. This was set up so that we could have somebody with a wheelchair. And you have to have about 5 feet circumference. And so we kept it, we tried to make it look full, but at the same time, we needed to add some area for the wheelchair turn. So there's no other furniture there, no dresser, because there just wasn't enough room for that. So, and that's in Dallas. This is also in Dallas. This was set up for tech heads.
Tech workers.
Dallas is a really big hub for tech, and so she wanted to attract them. And we mimicked this. We had two units side by side. We did one in blue and one in orange, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to conduct an experiment on the color psychology.
Oh.
There are certain colors that get quicker bookings, and orange is one of them. And the owner wanted blue. These were the colors of her logo, and she wanted blue. And I told her that blue is going to be slow. And this one booked once she took her pictures and loaded them up. This one booked in about 2 hours, and it took about a week for that blue to get booked.
That's fantastic.
And the blue is both of our favorites, but this one gets booked. And every time someone picks the photos in my Dropbox, they always pick the orange.
Love it. It stops the scroll.
It does. It does.
Is this the blue one?
No.
Oh, no.
This is a different one in a different area, but still in Dallas. Tech is still the avatar, which is important. You have to know who you're designing for. And so they want to be able to work there. They want to be able to plug in. They want a little bit of color, and they don't want it fussy. So, and that's what we did there, also in Dallas. And we're happy with the way it turned out.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, and we can get to this in the questions, but really designing for a very particular type of guest who may be coming, as you said, to work. So you want to offer features in the images that speak to what they're really kind of searching for, as well as include those in the kind of written description and the amenities.
Absolutely. And when they see the pictures, they're going to know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So if it's families, you want to make sure you have the things that a family would need, whether that be I don't know about cribs, but a pack and play or something like that, high chairs, things like that. If it's accessible, you want to keep all of that in mind. Some other avatars are traveling nurses.
Yep.
That's a big one. There are people who have short-term rentals that are just for Instagrammers.
Yeah.
They come in, rent, and the units don't really, I don't want to say there's not a continuous theme throughout the unit. One room looks like this, one room looks like that, one room looks like this. And so when the Instagrammer comes in, people think they have traveled all over the world and they've been in the same unit. And it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And they put it on Periscope as well. And sometimes movie companies will come in and rent the space for that. So, and this is the ebook that I created, The Insider's Guide to Creating a 5-Star Rental Vacation. I made it for entry-level investors. I cut my teeth on that, but I'm ready to move on. And so I had to gently break it to them that, we're moving up, we're scaling as well, but I didn't want to leave them high and dry. So this includes colors that sell. I have a whole chapter on that, how to find your guest avatar, the worksheet on that, and the thing that everybody wants, the links. There are more than 125 different things that are needed to set up from soup to nuts, a short-term rental, and everybody wants the links. So I put the links in there for them and put live links to everything they would need, and even put a column in there so that they could total up what their budget would be, because it's definitely a numbers game. So all of that is included in that, and there's a QR code. That's it.
If you've just joined us and you want a chair, we have some in the front here as well, if you're more comfortable. Margie, you're up.
Okay.
Is this on?
Yes. It is? Okay. So obviously my design style is more neutral. Just kidding. So this property is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom vacation rental near Madeira Beach, Florida. And when my clients approached me with this, they said that they wanted something that really stands out, very bright, very vibrant. And I actually, when I submitted the design originally, I submitted hot pink in this room, wallpaper that was hot pink flamingos. And they literally told me that it was too neutral. So I'm like,
Turn it up.
okay.
Oh, no, turn the
like
style
the
up.
So yes, I'm like, okay, we're going neon here. So yeah, I feel like it definitely hit the mark with what they were looking for. Um, and this is the same property. This is the primary bedroom. I brought in a local muralist to paint some of the murals. Some of the accent walls are murals, some of them are wallpaper. But doing one wall is a great way to, get that money shot on your listing, but without spending the money on doing all 4 walls. That's kind of what I do in a lot of my properties. But yeah, I connected with this local muralist. I've actually helped her grow her business a ton and support her. And she is like my total secret weapon. So she's on Instagram, C Jane Party, if you want to follow her. This is also the same property. This is, I just love how we did the artwork. I feel like it's like peeking over the sun. This is the living room here. This is also a mural that she did. And I mean, it's not every day that you see a cheetah on the living room wall, right? But it's so fun. And that's definitely something that stops the scroll, which is the goal here in vacation rental design. And this is the kids' bunk room. I did test the slide. It works. And we originally had that purple wall white. And I walked in, everything was done. The cleaners had already came. And I'm like, I think it just needs a little bit more. So we painted it purple and it turned out perfect. The disco ball is the finishing touch. And then it's not in the photo, but on the other side across from the beds, I have like cubbies with puzzles, books, toys. And it's just like the perfect kids room. So fun. And like Jessica was saying, there are individual switches for the sconces. So you can have your independency.
What's the occupancy on this property? Do you know?
It is 12.
Okay.
It is 12. And this property, the first day it went live, booked like $14,000 in day one. So my clients were super happy, and so was I.
Yeah. How did you have pushback on them about the slide? I'm curious about liability or any other kind of more.
It was actually their idea.
Great.
Yeah, it was their idea. Yeah, this is for a big investment firm who also specializes in vacation rentals, who I've partnered with over the last few months, and they are growing at a rapid speed, acquiring lots of properties in my area, and I'm just trying to keep up.
Tatiana.
Hello, it is working. Hello. So this property here is the Cawthorn House. It actually it's on the outside, it is a heritage home, but on the inside, it is completely different. As you can see, we've remodeled it completely. For this one, we market to families mainly. This is in Vancouver, BC. It is a 5-bedroom house. And for here, we wanted to do something that was quite elegant and timeless. And in the bathroom photo, that is actually the master bathroom right off of the bedroom there. And because of the vaulted ceilings, we wanted to make sure that it still felt luxurious and spacious. So we had some fun with the walk-in shower there.
I really enjoyed, and if you were at the summit, you got to hear both of you guys talk about kitchen and bath design trends and how that NKBA was one of our sponsors. So they came and did a great panel on finishes and surfaces. Is there anything from that discussion that you want to bring in about this, or if not, it's great.
I think so. One thing that for kitchen and bath that we like to make sure that we do as a designer in the vacation rental and short-term rental space, it isn't just about, okay, we made it look pretty, our job's done here. A lot of my projects are turnkey. That means everything from setting up coffee bars to branded toiletries in the property to the tech, so the smart locks, the noise monitors. the spoons, forks, everything, that they could pretty much just bring a suitcase and start living there from the moment we finish the project. So especially when you're doing bathrooms and kitchens, you do always want to look at, okay, how can I elevate the guest experience? Because at the end of the day, those are the things that the guests are going to remember, and they're going to not only leave a 5-star review on the property for, but word of mouth is everything in this industry. So the more that they market the property, the more it gets booked out, and the more jobs you are going to get as designers, because that owner is going to tell like everyone they know that they've made X amount of dollars on that property, and you are the designer that they chose to work with. For this one, okay, so these are 2 different properties. On the left, my client this is a 2-level, 1-bedroom penthouse. So we completely gutted it. She was obsessed with navy blue, so she wanted it incorporated as much as possible. Before, the layout actually was really dysfunctional, so we wanted to open up the space with a 1-wall kitchen, with lots of kind of incorporating the open shelving there. And this property really does well because it is in the heart of downtown, and people just love taking photos. We have a accent wall actually on the opposite side of this in the living room that matches the cabinets and everything from there, so it's a big picture moment for most people. And then, on the right there, that is actually one of my own personal properties. That is one of the smaller bedrooms with 2 twin beds. And this property is marketed to families and does about $80,000 a year. And it's just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is another condo right downtown Vancouver. So again, here we are in the heart of like Yaletown, which is a really busy business district. So we wanted to make sure that we were going for a luxurious feel for business professionals and couples. So I tried to make sure we could have a lot of clean finishes, simplicity, but also as much storage solutions as possible. So this one has been a big talk, especially this kitchen, because so many trades told me I could not get away with this. And I just said, we're just going to do it and you're going to like it no matter what. And at the very top, so you see you have the gray cabinetry, and those just open like your normal cabinet doors. And at the top, the oak is all open cabinetry that just pops open and lifts up. So everything, because it's such a small kitchen, storage is so valuable, especially for your guests, but more so for the cleaning company, like companies that are coming in, because you want to make sure that we can kind of hide away things that you don't want on the counters. And then this one was actually one of my first projects. It's up there, and I did a full gut on this house. And just like Ola was saying, for those Instagrammable moments, this house actually, every single room looks different. And I really wanted to give that elevated hotel feel. So for me, at least when I'm traveling, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like, I always try to arrive first because I don't want to be the person that's left with like the worst room. Yeah. So when I design spaces now, I'm like, nobody's getting the worst room. Everyone's great. So that's what I make sure happens. So this one has 3 different, very unique rooms. One's bohemian, one's a beautiful green. I call it the music room. So there's like the artwork's all edgy records, and then the master is an elegant dark gray accent wall, beautiful spaces. And this one actually we market to a lot of people in the film industry. So a lot of directors, actresses, actors love to stay at this space. So it actually doesn't get many short-term rentals because they won't leave.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. And then here is just my QR code. So I offer a couple of different things. I'm a short-term rental coach in the industry as well. And I also do some property management, not very much anymore. And I have a course and the Level Up Your Listing Summit. So it's all there.
Okay. So obviously, gone are the days when you had all that leftover furniture from wherever, random moves in your life, and maybe some like the cheapest toilet paper you could find and a bulk order of towels. Like those days are over. Like it's no longer, I mean, good design is the baseline. That's you. If you don't have good design, it's really you're not even playing in the game. So what I want to know, you guys are obviously very experienced at this. You've had multiple properties under your belt. You've got, transformed your business. So talk a little bit about the things that, most important learnings kind of over the years, but really how has this changed your business? And, I'm curious, answer this question both for the enthusiast, the entry level designer hoping to make this a new service line, and for the pros in here as well who are here to gain insight from you if you can. But talk to me about how your business has changed, how your lives have changed.
Well, I can tell you that from my first vacation rental to today, as a residential designer, I was 80% residential design, 20% vacation rental design, and that is completely flipped. And now I'm 80% vacation rental design, and my profit margin is better on vacation rental design. So that's why it's 80% more vacation rental design, and it's more fun. And I think if you're interested in this category, niche, whatever we want to call it, it gives you that creative outlet. But we don't really care that you love grandma's purple chair and you want to incorporate it in the room. We don't have to have that conversation. And just from the time I've started to today, that conversation with the owners and property managers and investors, it's getting easier because they're realizing the power of the photography and what you want to do. Because we all know we've had to have that conversation of like, your guests should not live second rate. Everything that you hate from your basement, that does not go in your rental. You have to up level.
Yeah.
And so I think you'll be very inspired if you can be brave enough to reach out for those of you that are thinking about getting in this. Talk the lingo, fake it till you make it, and you're going to love it.
But lean on the pros too. Like now there's community. We've all started to get to know each other. Reach out and ask questions. And like you guys are so easy to talk to. It's so wonderful. You all have your own resources, whether it's communities or ebooks or, blogs and courses. So there are resources now for you and you're not alone and you're part of something. So reach out.
We would love to coach you.
And I would second what Jessica said. For me, it was more of a confidence booster. When you work with residential clients, which I still enjoy doing, but sometimes they make you question your sanity. It's just so much, and it's a long journey.
Yeah.
And here it's more of a sprint, and you get to see the fulfillment of what you have in your brain come. You see the end of it. And that is such a confidence booster because you knew you could do it. You knew it. And the investors or whomever is hiring you, they have to rely on you. They have to rely on you. If they continue to make changes to whatever the design process is, they know that delays their income. And they know they hurt themselves, right? So they leave you alone. And they let you do what you have to do, and they trust you, and they love it in the end. And like Jessica said, you get to see, that vision that you have so often gets interrupted when you're dealing with residential clients because they're just nervous and they're sometimes untrusting, but these folks have to trust you to get it done. And there is some pressure with that. Everything is on you, but it's good pressure and it makes you push through to the end, especially if you already have a great work ethic. You are going to make it work. You're going to make it work. And then when you see the end and you see how happy they are, it's wonderful. It's a confidence booster.
So I got into vacation rental design because I'm just trying to have a good time out here. And vacation rental design is exactly that. I mean, it is so much fun. To both of these ladies' points, it's just, you can't beat it compared to residential design. You know, you get a lot more control of it because you're not designing for that homeowner, you're designing for the target renter. And so you just really, really, really get to be a lot more creative and, you know, follow your vision and stick with it. And it is just so much fun. I also want to say that there is enough business out there for everyone in this room. There will always be more ugly houses than there are of us. So if we could just kind of team up here.
One ugly house at a time.
Yes. Let's just, you know, there's power in numbers. Let's team up, y'all. Let's make these fugly houses not fugly. Raise the roof.
That's right.
Yeah.
And well, I can't. How am I supposed to come out? For me, it like I guess I'll take it kind of from a different perspective. When I got into short-term rentals, I was actually at what I say is probably the rock bottom period in my life. And I was laid off from my job. I lost my mom in an accident, and then my dog died. So like a lot of things were happening. And if I did not find short-term rentals and this business, and of course I design them for clients, but I also have my own. And this industry is life-changing. And what you're really gaining through this business, even on the design side, as the hosting side, the owner side, is time freedom. And that is everything. I am at a position where, like, yes, I used to bust my ass. Am I allowed to say ass?
Ass.
Okay. You know, so I used to work that 9 to 5, and I'd be like, oh, I hope management will notice me. And that never paid off. And I was exhausted. I was trying to build my own business on the side, and I was doing whatever I could. And it wasn't until I really sunk in and dug into short-term rentals that things changed. I don't have the stress that I had before. And not only did it change for me financially and with my time, but every single day I get to do that for families. And you wouldn't believe the amount I've put just in Vancouver, over 30 families, by helping them create and manage their spaces through short-term rentals. I've put them into retirement or helped them be able to pay their kids' college or anything from there. And to me, that's why I'm passionate about this. That's why I will scream short-term rentals at anyone who is doing long-term residential renting. But you know, really dive in, know your why you're doing this, because that's what's really going to kind of propel you forward in this business.
Wow, guys. We can start with Q&A. I had another question I wanted to touch on about investing, investors, and reaching your kind of target audience, because I think that's a question a lot of designers have. It's like, okay, I'm ready, or I'm ready to like grow my business, but I need new investors, or I need to get in front of, I need to be visible to the people who can help me grow. So maybe you guys can answer that. If it comes up in another question, even better. I saw your hand first. Yeah. So if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Hi, good morning. I'm curious about, I have kind of a two-part question, because I'm really, really curious what percentage, and Tatiana, you mentioned, you know, your own projects versus doing it for clients. So like if you guys can throw out an 80-20 or a 60-40, whatever, would love to hear that. And I'm also curious, just this is a yes or no question, but obviously if you want to expand, are you guys, when you do it for yourselves or when you're advising clients on where to purchase these homes, are you kind of always going for a downtown spot?
No.
Okay, so yeah.
One of the most profitable rentals for an owner I work for, one of the most profitable projects for an owner I work for is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we designed the home just for Green Bay Packers fans. Like, it has cheese wallpaper. It's all green and yellow. And they also own the big blue house on the beach in Oregon. And that rents for $3,000 a night to $5,000 a night, depending on the time of the year. The Green Bay Packer house rents for $3,000 a night with a 4-night minimum, and it's a 3-bedroom. So your ROI on that one, and that just opened and it's locked down and it's going to go up. So that's a great return, and it's Green Bay, Wisconsin.
To kind of like add to that, so the one thing about this industry is there are so many tools out there that are there to help you know your numbers and also help your investors or owners that are purchasing properties. There is a company called AirDNA. They are an amazing company. They have a tool called Rentalizer. You can only use it so many times before you have to pay, but with that, you can actually put your own addresses in or any house that you're thinking and how many bedrooms and bathrooms, and those numbers will pop out an estimated value of what that property should be bringing in as annual revenue every year. If you want to buy and you don't know where to buy, there is a great company called STR Insights, and they actually help kind of like navigate what markets are hot and the potential returns from there if you are looking to purchase. Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Okay. There's also, so another tool is Price Labs. I'm just doing all these shameless plugs. They got to keep paying me up here. So Price Labs is a dynamic pricing tool. And every owner, every investor should have this tool as when their properties are live, because that makes it so it bases off of straight across the market, all the competition, as well as any events that are coming into your town or anything from there that's happening. And it will give you the best suggested price on what you should be pricing your rental nightly. So the cool thing about this is no night is the same. Everything fluctuates based off of competition, and you are always going to get the best price for your property.
Yep. Is Mashvisor the same as AirDNA? Do they merge or?
Oh
they're
yeah,
separate?
Mashvisor is great. I'll let you take that one.
Oh, no, you can talk.
Okay. Mashvisor is also yeah, please, I don't want to. Mashvisor is also another great tool. They have a heat map, and you can, within that heat map, you can also see what areas in a particular city are hot or not. Mashvisor.
And also, if you're in luxury, there are a few luxury short-term rental people who will train you. One of them is Dr. Rachel. I will speak of her because I've worked with her before. She really, really, really knows her stuff. She was recently featured in Netflix.
Yes, but also
especially midterm rentals. That is huge right now. Midterm rentals, so short-term rentals, what would we say, two weeks, under 20 days, and midterm rentals 30 days or more. That's a longer span. That is on the rise now. I'm sure you've heard of cities who are stiffening their regulations. So I don't tell people where to buy. I work with investors, so usually they have done their homework and they already know where they want to buy. But big places now are rural experiences are selling right now, not downtown areas. I don't know if you've noticed, but after the pandemic, people are a little edgy. So people want to come out of the city. They want to go into these places and be alone with their families. That's the experience. That's the luxury experience now.
I just want to add one thing to this because I think it's important. We learned about Quarter Stay, a company run by Joyful Designs, targeting nurses, the nurses that need long stays. What am I trying to say? Traveling nurses.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge market, huge market to target.
If you have a property near a hotel or medical center, this is a industry to look into.
And, I'm sorry. Another thing on the traveling nurses, it's not just enough to have a hospital, but you want to know what the level of the hospital is. One is they handle everything. They can handle trauma and everything goes 1 to 3. And then you want to know how many beds they have. If they have like 300 beds, that's huge. And so a level 1 hospital will have more traveling nurses than a level 3, right? A level 3 is in the rural areas, and very rarely will they have a traveling nurse come there. But if you're in a level 1 and you're close and 300 beds or 250 beds or more, that's the sweet spot.
Jane?
Good morning. Thank you.
She's on her way. We'll get her next.
For those of you that I'll be super quick. For those of you that are doing projects outside of the city that you reside in, how does that logistically work for you, like with site visits and installs and things like that?
Should I? Okay. So that can be tricky. There's different ways to do it. I've worked with clients who sometimes will have like family or friends in the area. Typically, people do, not always, but people often invest in places where they have family and friends. So they can, sometimes use the property themselves. And they'll have either a family or friend or what we call like a runner to run and just bring packages inside as they ship. And if they don't already have someone they know, I would suggest having your client either hiring someone or using a receiver. Or Jessica had a really hot tip the other day at the summit, which is partnering. Do you want to share?
Well, are you talking about sourcing? The whole thing? Because like if I have a remote project, I stay at the project. So we work in the calendar for me to pop in. I may be there for a day or a couple of days and I work. And then for procurement and getting my goods there, if I haven't worked with a company for consolidated delivery, then I use a storage unit. I don't like paying receiver fees. I think they're crazy and I don't like all that. So I partner up with a local storage unit, and if I have to pay a little extra to the manager there or whatever, I don't care. They receive my product, take photos from me and send it to me, put it in my storage unit. And then when I fly in, all my goods are there and we do the install. And my other pro tip is I make friends right away with the housekeeping company, and I reach out to them directly, talk to them about their needs, and I ask if they have people that I could use for my install. And I don't know if I'm just lucky, but they always do. And then you want to be best friends with housekeeping. So we have formed a connection right out of the gate. We're installing together. They know what I want. And seems to work.
And I use virtual assistants. I find them in different places. I use Clubhouse a lot. A lot of my virtual assistants have experience in the design industry. Some of them are designers who are just not busy. Sometimes they're new and they're hungry and they don't have any projects. And so I look for designers. They don't know I'm looking for them. But if I see someone who piques my interest, who is in my market, whether that be Dallas, Michigan, Chicago, New York, Mississippi, which was a hard one, then I reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to help. And in return, obviously they get paid for it, not out of my pocket, but out of the investor's pocket. And in return, if they do something stellar in a space, I tell them, when we get the photographer, you get something for your portfolio as well. So it helps them. They're willing to work. They work a lot harder because they have something, a vested interest in it, and that has worked for me.
Time for one more question. Take it away.
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for all of your knowledge and sharing all of your tidbits. It's been invaluable. My question is pretty simple, or maybe not. How did you break in?
So I woke up one day and started calling myself a vacation rental designer. Seriously. And I will say, and I basically just totally rebranded myself on my social media, my website. And I will say, when you speak to your target client, they will come. So adjust the copy on your social media, on your website to speak directly to that avatar and get specific on that avatar, and they will come.
And I used a voice only app called Clubhouse. I noticed, you turn on the notifications, and I got notifications for Airbnb and STR, and I like, what's the difference? And I quickly learned, don't ever say Airbnb in there. You have to say STR. And so I listened for a few months, and I wanted to learn the business before I said anything. I wanted to learn the pain points. And then when I was ready, I don't know if you're familiar with Clubhouse, but there's an audience and then there's a stage. And it's all virtual. It's like a podcast, but in real time. And you get to be a part of it, right? So no pictures. I didn't have to show my face. I didn't have to do all of that work that you have to do on Instagram. I just needed to listen. And then once they got used to me being in the room, they were like, who is this Ola girl? Come up here, tell us who you are. And that's how I got my first client. And as they got familiar with me, I got familiar with them. Then I started to get more referrals through Clubhouse. And that's how I got in. That's what I wanted to do. I just couldn't figure out how to break in. And so I got in with investors.
Great.
I think we can have another question or two.
Yeah. Okay.
We went very overtime last time.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Jessica, you mentioned that the profit margin on the short-term rentals was better than the regular residential. If it's not too intrusive, would you all talk about what that percentage is?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Good question.
I gave this example to a brand this week while I was here, and I thought it helped explain. A residential designer, we're going to buy that beautiful couch you have once every 10 years for that client. For a vacation rental project, I'm going to buy that sofa 4 times in 10 years because we do refreshes. They have to stay fresh. Stop the scroll. You keep hearing that over and over again. You may not have all worn out items, but you have to stay fresh to your competition. We move things around, but you do have the wear and tear. So the fact that you are replenishing goods at a much more rapid rate than a residential project, there's your profit margin right there. So your product and your time with your investors, it does tend to kind of expand. Like I have a constant communication with property owners and property investment companies because of breakage, things I need to drop ship, consult on, should we do this? So your residential client gets the big reveal and hopefully they cry and it's amazing. And then you hear from them or they refer you, but you're going to stay active with your project with an STR.
That's actually a new also service offering you can, within your own business. It doesn't always have to be you as the point person.
Yeah. But it should be because we're fun.
We're going to do 2 more questions. Nicole, one. You're going to be last. Oh, I got this one.
So we are an interior design company, but also a general contracting firm, commercial and residential, female owned. Wanted to let everybody know.
Love it.
So I hear you're talking about design, but it seems like there's construction that's tied into that. So how are you dealing with that construction being out? Are any of you general contractors? Are you working with specific contractors? And how are you dealing with that interaction? And how can we as general contractors find more of you designers that are looking for good general contracting firms?
We're
How
right
can
here.
How can we reach you?
Right here.
Yes.
Show up at High Point.
I'm actually a build design firm, so I build houses too. But with that, if it's something that's remote and in a different city, I will usually kind of do my research ahead of time to find a contractor that works like with my style. But also I do kind of do like little mini interviews just to make sure that they have the same mentality as me. As I'm sure everyone knows in here and you know yourself, some contractors that just don't see the vision, and I know you felt this way recently, then it can be a big headache and you want things to go as smooth as possible.
I wish we had more time or I'd tell you the picket tile story.
Hey guys, I was at the summit. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, it was priceless. And I'm happy to see you guys here again. At this question, I was thinking, what you charge for residential versus what you would charge a client for doing a short-term rental. How do you guys charge for that? Would it be like a flat rate? Would it be just thinking about that?
Flat rate
Good
for me.
question, too.
My design fee is separate from the merchandise, but they're both a flat fee. And my design fee is based off of the scope of work, you know, so is there construction involved? Is it light cosmetic stuff, full renovation, furniture only? Sometimes you're coming into an existing vacation rental that you're working with some of the furniture pieces. So every project is totally different. So getting to really hone in on the scope of work and charge for based off of that.
I'm the rebel, and I do blocks of time. And my clients would receive two different types of invoice: time and then all the other stuff. And they have I have a minimum amount of time that they can buy. And I tell them, you can use that time however you want. But, you know, this is the project we're on. And a lot of times they'll call me and say, quick question, you know, I need a blue for this. And for me, it's been very profitable because it does tend to help me get into other parts of their projects. And I just literally track my time. And it's easy.
What is the minimum hours that you'll sell?
If you've already worked with me, 10 hours. Other than that, it's a minimum of 20.
You sell your services cheaply?
Nothing about me is cheap. I'm gonna, but I'm worth it.
Great.
More than I want to talk about right here. But I love you.
DM.
I have a quick question. Last question. Do any of you do anything outside of the United States, like Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean?
Well, I'm in Canada, so that's outside of the States. But I haven't done it yet, but I actually am looking right now at purchasing in Tulum, Mexico, where I will have my own short-term rental.
And we're all going to. Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I'm sure a lot of, if you guys still have questions, I don't know about you ladies, but like we can stand outside and answer some questions if that's what people have.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Because I know they have panels all day, so they like to
Check us out.
You guys like this?
I'll say one thing real quick. Again, stay around, ask questions to each of the panelists. We'll just move this topic outside, but also go upstairs, have a look around Universal. They're an incredible partner, especially for this short-term rentals and vacation rentals. So thank you very much.